Okay. All right, Nathan, I want to thank you very much for taking the time to speak with me today about your SIT experience.
Yeah,
If
my
you could
pleasure.
kick things off by telling me if you can just state your name and a little background about yourself. So, school, major, the term that you studied abroad, and the program that you did.
Yeah, so I'm Nathan Jacobson. I am originally from Fargo, North Dakota. I go to school at Drake University in Des Moines, Iowa, and I am a religion major there. And I studied abroad in with SIT Indonesia, Arts, Religion, and Social Change in the fall of 2015.
Okay. And so, when you were making a decision and you knew that you wanted to study abroad, what made
Mhm.
you initially choose SIT?
Well, I was really interested in the experiential education component to SIT. I loved that it wasn't just about sitting in a classroom and attending a university. It was much more of a hands-on approach to uh, having professors who are Indonesian, but who not only teach you in the classroom, but then take you out to the field and have you see so much more of a country that you would not get to access without their help. So I saw that in almost every SIT program that I was looking at, but then was just specifically drawn to Indonesia just because, as a religion major, the religious component was something I really wanted to access in my study abroad experience. So
Great, great, thank you. Um, so, delving into a little bit more in the program, tell me about what you chose for your ISP.
I chose a to study a traditionalist cultural movement that is trying to rediscover their ethnic identity. So the group was called the Mawale movement, and Mawale means in their indigenous language "going back home." So their movement is about they see their current society, which I studied. The program is based in Bali, but I was able to do my ISP on another island called Sulawesi. I took a plane there and I got to study kind of under a former SIT student who is now pursuing a PhD in anthropology, who was really well acquainted with the movement. So it was really cool to kind of have her as a resource because this was the first time I'd done anthropology work. So to have her there, and then the group itself was really welcoming. So I stayed with them, and kind of part of my research was to kind of find out what does it mean for them to rediscover their ethnic identity and how are they doing that. What programs are they putting on? What kind of conversations are they having with each other? um, so it was not only a really great experience because I got to be exposed to a group of people that I just like didn't know existed at all, or the kinds of really amazing conversations were happening I didn't know were going on. And so to be able to access that was incredible. And then to not only have support from the SIT staff back at my program, and then have support from this former SIT student kind of guiding me along it was just an incredible and challenging, but really rewarding month that I got to experience. So yeah.
Good, good. That's a fantastic resource to be able to have a mentor like that available to you.
Yes, it was
But
amazing.
now, you said this was your first time doing anthropological research. Was this your
Hmm.
first time sort of conducting research and writing a formal research paper?
Of this of this nature, yes, I'd say it was. I'd done more extensive, more I'd say text-based research projects in the past, but in terms of field work, this was the first time that I had really learned how to do field work. Because I think SIT's program, we did a little bit of prep with that, but then during your ISP, you're just kind of thrust into it all, which I found is an amazing thing to do because it was so good for me to be able to figure out just like how I work and kind of learn the ropes along the way, which I think is a really cool and scary thing to do when you're in another country. Um, but yeah, so first time doing field work, which was, like I said, it was really good having that resource of that SIT student, and then also having my academic director was just phenomenal. And we also worked with um, a man he's getting his PhD in ethnomusicology, and he worked with us all throughout the semester helping us learn what are the ethics and the ethics of doing field work, and like what are the most useful ways of conducting field work that'll be conducive for the kind of research in the short amount of time that we're doing, because realistic like 3 weeks of research is no time at all. But it's kind of a fun, scary challenge that it was great that I had the support that I did, to be able to complete that. So yeah.
Are you able to use the research, do you think, at any point again further on for like a senior thesis project or anything like that?
As of right now, I don't know if it'll be a part of my senior thesis project, just because of the nature of, as my religion major, I'm much more like theologically based in my interests. But I definitely know that not only with my ISP, but just my whole semester abroad just totally expanded my worldview of just not only like how I talk about religion, but then how I um, want how I study it too. And so the ISP especially was a part of this component, because the area that I was in, I personally practice Christianity and am really interested in Christian theology. And contrary to most of Indonesia, which is primarily Muslim, and then Bali is primarily Hindu, the area I was in was primarily Christian. And so to kind of hear how they talk about Christianity and see its practices in a totally different context, literally across the world from where I was just a really cool part of my study abroad experience. And if I get the chance to really use that data, I use it in a heartbeat. And it's really cool because I'm still in contact with people from the movement right now, just about like them asking me, like, have I told my friends about their movement, and have I kind of kept up with my research? And so I do want that to be an active part of kind of on my brain, to make sure that that isn't something I just kind of shove off to the side. So yeah.
Good. That's really good to hear. Good to hear. So taking a step back now, is there something that you wish you had known before you departed, be it just for study abroad in general, for your specific program and heading into Bali? Is there any information that you'd like to share?
The one thing I'd say is the SIT website for your packing list seems much more, it was much more rigid on it than it really was. So I wish I would have packed more shorts because I mean, but honestly, that's, other than that, there was nothing I really wished I'd known before, because everything that I experienced there was just like a kind of rocked my world. And I'm so happy that I didn't know about that or even have an inkling about it beforehand, because then it wouldn't have had such a just a startling effect on me. And then I wouldn't have maybe asked as many of the kinds of questions that I asked, or like forced myself into the discomfort that is study abroad, especially in a non-traditional environment that like most of SIT programs are. And I think if I would have really known too much about what kinds of discomfort I was going to have, then I wouldn't have maybe leaned into it as much. So, and that's just the cool part about study abroad, is that like I went in with the mentality of like, okay, Nathan, you're studying abroad. This is a semester of discomfort, so let's go for it. And that's kind of my advice for anyone who is about to study abroad or is studying abroad, is to like find those moments that make you feel weird and just go for it, because those are the moments that like you're really going to learn something about yourself or your environment, or just the world around you. But
I
yeah.
couldn't agree more. On the edge of your comfort zone comes all of the deeper
Yes.
learning.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's a perfect answer. And thank you for sharing that.
Of course.
Okay, Nathan, that's all the questions that I have for you, unless there's any other information that you'd like to share.
Not particularly. Just I mean, this is more just a personal shout out to the Bali program, but I just wanted to reiterate like how phenomenal the staff and programming of that is, that I just like, when I was looking at what programs I wanted to pursue, I remember not seeing a ton of information of like student reviews or compared to other sites. But now I'm somebody who like cannot promote the Bali program more, because like Bu Ari, the academic director, is absolutely phenomenal. And just like everyone that interacts with it, they create spaces of intentional learning, which I so appreciated. And I know people on my program, we really bonded together because of the under the like leadership and guidance that the staff provided for us, and that SIT provided for us too. So just wanted to give a shout out to Buari and Pakyudi and all of the people that kind of made my semester, and everyone on my program who kind of made my semester incredible. So, but yeah.
Wonderful to hear.
Yeah.
Wonderful to hear. Okay. Okay. Nathan, well, thank you again very much for taking the
Yeah.
time.
Yeah, no problem. Sorry again for all of the like time change weirdness for me